Hello, and welcome to another international language episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Katherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts, and I've lost about 150 pounds. And with me today, lovingly, is...
her scrappy sidekick, Donald Weigel.
You're not scrappy.
But I am your sidekick.
I'm your sidekick. We're the sidekicks.
We're each other's sidekicks.
Yeah, we're our wing folk.
Which one of us is the main hero?
We are heroes to each other and to ourselves. And I say we're both each other's wing folk.
Heroes of weight maintenance.
Yes. Wow, we're great at this. Even after almost 2 years of inspiring people, we still know how to just launch the episode in a really strong way.
We sure do. I am Donald Weigel, and I've lost about 100 pounds.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I've now kept it off for, I don't know what, almost 2 years?
I know it must be nice. Now we're going to start the Must Be Nice Corner episode, part of the episode.
And for those you who might be new listeners, must be nice is what we say when somebody else does something that makes us jealous. We say, must be nice. Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point now where I don't remember what year it is or how long I've been maintaining. I honestly don't remember if I'd have to look at a calendar.
Yeah.
But it's been about 2 years.
That must be nice.
It must be nice. I know I started in January 2016 losing, so it'll be 2020. So how many years is that? 4?
Yeah, 4.
4, okay.
Yeah, and
so,
I started losing at the tail end of March, beginning of April of 2016.
I'm just glad I'm proud of you, because I remember when we started this process, you had lost maybe 10 pounds, and I said, I am so proud of you. That was a part of our episode today. We're going to talk about positive talk. I said, I am so proud of you. And you said, don't be proud of me yet.
Don't be proud of me yet, because I was pretty convinced I was going to put that weight back on.
Yeah, I was like, that's stinking thinking. Yeah. And I was like, well, I can't wait to be...
for the next year and a half, you were like, I can't wait to be proud of you.
I'm so looking forward to being proud of you.
to finally being
proud
of you.
So I am finally proud of you.
Thanks.
And,
thanks. I appreciate it.
Well,
it's nice to finally have someone feel pride in me.
Well, pride comes from within. So Whitney Houston knew what was up.
She sure did.
She sure did. So we're going to start this week with a tip of the week.
Tao!
And then we're going to talk about the international language of love.
Love, everyone.
Come on. Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
Monique and Ricky.
Yeah.
Love.
Christmas.
Yeah, if you don't know.
If you haven't seen Better Off Dead, it's an 80s classic.
Yeah, I can't wait to be proud of you for watching it, because it's awesome. But we're going to talk about the 5 love languages.
Yeah.
And then we're going to finish off with a product of the week. Pow!
Pow, everyone.
Pow. So if you, let's see, starting with the tip of the week.
I think we're going to start with the tip of the week. Tao!
Tao! Tip of the week to you.
Tip of the week to you.
Tip of the week to you. And tip of the week to you, fine listener.
Yeah.
In the U.S., we, if you're listening to this as it's happening...
I probably should have done some research on this. I don't know if they do this all over the world or not.
They don't. They don't even know what we're talking about yet. We're talking about the time change, the clocks falling back.
Yeah.
And I know that here
in the U.S. of A.,
it happens
twice a year. We change the clocks, except in Illinois and Arizona, I think, don't do it.
Something like that. Yeah. Indiana, but anyway, let's Wikipedia it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in the U.S., we just experienced the time change this weekend, and I know in other parts of the world it happens at different times, but. We are so busy trying to be sure that our Halloween goes well and that we don't overindulge. Last year, we were hell-bent on making sure that Halloween was great, and we got rid of all the Halloween candy. But then daylight savings time happened, and a lot of people in Wolt Place kind of fell apart, including me.
Yeah, there was this kind of hey, we got through Halloween, we should be fine.
Yeah, and then it was like, it's dark out, and it's cold, and I don't want to drink water, and... all of my habits are screwy now, and I don't want to have a salad because it's cold.
Yeah, and it's getting dark earlier, and it's weird when I wake up now.
Yeah, so the tip of the week, here we go, the actual tip of the week is use daylight saving time, whether you're in America or not, as a time to sort of reassess your season and your habits for the season. So if you were eating a lot of cold salads in the summer and fall, this might be the time to switch over to hearty vegetable soups.
Yeah.
So you're still getting your vegetables, but now they're warm instead of cold.
Trader Joe's right now has their harvest chili and their split pea, their fresh soups.
Naming soups. He's got many soups.
They're so good.
They're very delicious.
Yeah.
Mary in Wolt Place actually gave a shout out to pea soup thanks to Donald Weigel. So you're changing lives. One soup at a time.
With soup.
But see the time change, see the season change, whether you're in the southern hemisphere and it's spring or in the northern and it's getting toward winter. See it as a time to reassess your habits. Is this a time to change up your workout routine where instead of going to the gym, you rebound at home, use your mini inside trampoline to watch Netflix and stay inside?
That's very specific.
Well, because I say rebounder and they're like, tell people what a rebounder is. They don't know what that is.
True.
And he talked just like this. His radio voice sounds like a normal human, and then at home he talks like this. But if you are used to drinking lots of ice water and it's too cold now, switch to. We have a friend and neighbor who drinks warm water with lemon. Oh, isn't that delightful? Hot tea. So be aware that you might be your habits might be disrupted with the time change. We have other holidays coming up, which we'll talk about in coming episodes. But last year, the time change was kind of a surprise attack that many Wolt Place people didn't realize it was going to be an issue. So just be aware that you might have some issues, and it's okay to switch up your routine. And that is the tip of the week.
Everybody. Tip of the week to you.
Tip of the week to you. We should have pretended to be groggy with this episode. We're not recording it on the day of, but it's like the time change is like, I'm sleepy.
The time changed. But we got an extra hour of sleep because the clocks fell back.
Oh, okay. See,
so
yay!
I feel even better than usual.
Oh, so invigorated.
Yeah.
So that was the tip of the week. We're done with that. And now we're going to move on to love.
And the language of it.
The language of love. So we're kind of late to the 5 love languages game. I know other podcasts have talked about it, lesser podcasts, but
much lesser.
There is a book by a man named Gary Chapman.
Yes.
Called The 5 Love Languages. Didn't he also write that song, Here in My Car?
Yes, that's the same
Wait,
guy.
no, which?
That's Gary Newman.
Gary Newman, that's what I said.
I thought you knew who it was and you were kidding.
No, I couldn't remember. All the Garys. There's so many Garys.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman. We're going to name Garys.
We're just going to talk about Garys for the next 40 minutes.
These are the Garys I know. These are the Garys I know.
Exactly.
So the 5 Love Languages book is a couples relationship book, and I think it's like the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. There's like 5 love languages for kids, 5 love languages for your dog, but I don't know.
5 love languages for your barista.
Yeah, I think tips are probably their love language, but in the book he says that each person in a relationship, and this could be, and we're making this bigger, each person wants to feel love or affirmation in a different way. And he contends that there are 5 ways. Donald, would you like to read the 5 ways?
Sure. And, we may all think that it's pretty obvious, like, what love means and how showing love to one another, like, what that is. But people, at least according to him, and it makes a lot of sense to me, people like being shown love in different ways. And his breakdown of the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, which,
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job reading that.
Thank you so much for doing everything you do. Quality time, which is what you're doing with us right now.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're spending quality time with me and Catherine. Receiving gifts. Now, not GIFs.
but actual gifts.
GIFTS, gifts.
Like 5 stars on Apple.
Oh, that would be a nice gift for us. But, giving people stuff, basically. And then the next one is acts of service, which is doing stuff for people. It's like you're taking out the trash, you're doing the laundry, you're doing the dishes, that kind of thing. And then the final one is physical touch, which is touching people. Did I just make it weird?
A Phil Collins song. The physical touch, yeah. Touching people without being asked, not okay. We're not talking about that. We're talking about
your significant other.
Yeah, or a pat on the back from your boss.
I don't want my boss patting me on the back,
but some
literally.
People do. Some people want that. That's not my love language.
No.
But he breaks it down into those 5 categories, and he contends that people give the way they want to receive. So if you find that you compliment people a lot or send out cards with very thoughtful notes, words of affirmation might be your love language.
Yeah. Or, if you find yourself doing things for people, you're the one who volunteers to, pick up the, whatever at the store for the event or
pick up friends from the airport.
Or you're the one who's constantly taking out the trash and, you find that the person in your relationship is not also doing those things, then, it may lead to you not feeling appreciated because they're not doing back for you what you're doing for them. So you people tend to want to get love back in the way that they show it.
Right. So how do you show others love or appreciation? And so again, in the 5 Love Languages book, he talks about the 5 ways people want to receive or give affirmations of love or appreciation. And I believe that this ties into the whole weight loss journey.
Oh,
see, we brought it back around because everything is about weight loss.
It's all about food.
It is. So if you are not receiving a love language the way that is meaningful for you, you might take revenge by eating food.
Yeah, or you may try and seek comfort in food, or you may be trying to, replace the feelings that you're not getting by giving yourself some sort of other feeling, by putting yourself into a food coma to make you not think about the love that you're not getting elsewhere.
Well, and I think that I definitely have a certain love language when it comes to work, and then a different love language when I'm at home. Because,
for sure.
And I think, and I don't know if he talks about this in the book, but you might crave appreciation in a way you are not getting it. Like, I feel very loved, and I know that,
I feel very loved too.
No, but I don't necessarily need words of affirmation from you because I already have them. So it's something that not that I don't pay attention to it, but it's not something that I'm craving because you already give it to me. But Donald, before we move ahead, I think there is actually a 5 love languages quiz that you can take online. And I took mine a while ago. Do you remember what your love languages are?
It was mostly, I think, words of affirmation and gifts, receiving gifts, I think.
I sent him a lot of GIFs, and it's not the same thing. Or gifts.
The problem is I've heard people talk about the 5 love languages before, and pretty much every time I've ever heard it, the person has been receiving gifts. What kind of a horrible, rotten human being feels love by receiving gifts? And I'm just sort of that guy in the corner. I'm raising me I kind of do.
That's me.
I enjoy receiving gifts. That makes me feel good.
Yeah. But for me, the ones that I most resonate with are acts of service and quality time.
Yeah.
So my time is important to me. And maybe having things done for me is big. I mean, I know that in the past I have done acts of service as a way to show love to others. I like to be the one that steps in when, times are tough, or I like to be the one that solves the problem, because it actually makes me feel good to be like, oh, wow, Catherine, you really came through, which is maybe a whole boundary situation also. But I would I was telling Dawn earlier, I would do an act of service for someone and they were saying like, wow, you haven't done anything for me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I did this, this, and this. And it turns out that their love language was not acts of service. It was words of affirmation. And because I was giving love in a way that was not being recognized, I wasted a lot of quality time doing stuff that didn't actually have an impact. So, for example, if gifts are your love language, or say they're Donald's, but it's not necessarily my love language. He could send me a lot of gifts and I'd be like, oh, that's fine, but when was the last time you made me a cup of coffee? Like, I want acts of service. But if you don't know that about yourself, then you don't have the vocabulary to tell people what you need. And I think getting down to the point where knowing what your needs are and knowing why you're not getting them, I think really impacts the whole weight loss journey. And I know for me in the last 4 years, I think we established it was 4 years. In the last 4 years, I've done a lot of work on self-knowledge and understanding my motivation for things, understanding my Gretchen Rubin 4 tendencies, understanding, abstainer versus moderator. Like, there are so many different ways I'm better tuned in to my own wants, needs, desires, and motivations.
Yeah.
And it has helped my journey. And I think, so our goal in this episode is just to talk about ways that you can work through the love languages, whether it's with someone else or on your own or at work. It all ties in together, because if you're not feeling validated or valued, you might turn to food to self-soothe. And our goal is...
And I used to do it at work all the time, and it can get very complicated. Like, I've had real issues over the years with not feeling appreciated. And even though I said I'm largely a words of affirmation person, at work, it can be more about feeling respect. And there's also this part of me that's like, if you really appreciated my work, you would give me the people I need to get it done. You would give me the money that I think I deserve to get this job.
Right, which is a gift. Which is a gift
of a kind. And then I would let that resentment for not feeling like I was appreciated, financially or by being respected, by eating. And, it was this vicious cycle of like...
And the problem with your work love language is that I feel like a lot of times at work, the business love language is getting food trucks for people.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. Many producers, in fact, I mean, it goes on all the time. It's like the thank you gift for the crew that, like, we'll get guest directors on TV shows. We'll get, the producers will bring in, and, sort of the default is they buy a food truck to come in. We had just earlier this week, we had a cheesesteak truck show up on set that had, whatever. And, it's just free and you go get it.
But that's the thing. They feel like they're doing you a favor. They're giving you a gift. And that is like your love language is feeling validated and getting people.
Yeah.
And when they're spending money on a food truck, they're not spending money on another person in your office. So it actually is like a sabotage sort of thing.
And it can be very, very complicated, and it's sort of, in terms of with Catherine and I, like, she is an acts of service person. I think we've only, fairly recently in our relationship figured this out. And, so you will oftentimes do things for me. Like a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, I came home and you had already done all my laundry because I mentioned that I needed to do it. And I felt incredibly grateful, but I also felt incredibly guilty at the same time.
Yeah, it's so complicated. These love languages are not
and
easy.
It was, sort of, there was a time in my life where I would have taken that guilt and channeled it into eating food. And thankfully, I'm not at that point. But, it's like, you do that act of service for me. And then it's sort of like, well, do I have to do an act of service for you that is of the same, and I've just worked all week and I'm exhausted and I don't feel like doing anything except relaxing this weekend, and and then it's like, but I mean, you and I are in a place where we could talk about it, but not everybody is.
No, we're woke, as the kids say. I'm going to spill the tea. We're woke and on fleek.
I have no idea what any of that is.
I don't either. But love languages are complicated, especially when it comes to feeling our own self-worth. So for me, I used to have sort of not a superiority complex, but like, I've got to do it all. If I don't do it, no one's going to do it.
If I don't do it, nobody will, right?
And a lot of that and that perfectionism is if Donald would say he was going to do the dishes, and I usually do the dishes, and I want them put in the dishwasher the right way.
Because clearly I do it the wrong way.
But like, I'd be like, no, I'll just do it. No, I'll just do it. And then you become a martyr over time of at work, I'll just get it done. Yeah. I'll meet the deadline. I'll stay late. Just give it to me. I'm not going to delegate. And when you erode those boundaries or you don't set boundaries and you become a martyr and you absorb all of that energy and time, and then you feel put upon, and then you turn to food.
Yeah.
Like, and I did that for years, and stepping back and letting people do things for you, even if it's not the way you would do it. Like, the question should be not whether or not the spatula is put in the right place in the dishwasher, but will it be clean,
right,
regardless of the place it is put? And if the answer is yes, then someone else can do the dishes for me. Right. It doesn't have to be that perfect, I've got to do it all. So you kind of have to know sort of when to let go and when to let people be kind to you. Because a lot of times in the weight loss journey, we don't feel like we deserve value. We don't feel like, if let's say your love language might be physical touch. If you feel bad in your body and you don't want anyone to see you naked, or you don't want anyone to feel how soft your arm is or whatever, if you have shame around your body, physical touch might not even be an option for you because you don't feel like you're worthy of it.
Well, and it might be difficult to accept a compliment from somebody if you don't feel like you deserve it. We just did an episode 2 episodes ago about talking positively and accepting compliments and how difficult it can be in society to just say thank you for something and move on, and feel like you really deserve that compliment can be difficult.
Well, and I think, a lot of times, and the love language book talks more about relationships. So how to give love to your sweetheart, or your, how to exchange with your friends or whatever. But so much of this is about yourself and filling yourself with whatever you need, and not waiting for an external source to give you the value that you want. For words of affirmation, like we were saying, if you feel like, a trash panda, and someone says something nice, like if your inner monologue is trash panda
is a funny way of saying a raccoon who digs through the trash for garbage
and food.
Oh my gosh, I have felt like in my life, just devouring everything in the kitchen.
Okay, I have eaten out of the trash before. I have said it on the show before. Our daughter came home the other day from Rite Aid. She had gone with a friend, and she brought home one of those giant Lenny and Larry cookies, those 2-portion ones.
They're huge.
And yeah, they're 420 calories each.
Man.
And she was eating one, and she was like, I was like, wow, that's a really big cookie. And I have an issue with those cookies. And she got home and was like, I'm not hungry anymore. I'm going to throw the rest in the trash. Okay, which must be nice.
Yeah.
And 2, I had to tell her, I was like, maybe we should put it in the dumpster outside, because I have eaten out of the trash before. And she was like, do I need to put it out in the trash? I was like, no, I'll be fine. And I want to let you know that I got through it. I did not dig through the trash for the second part of the cookie. But her ability to moderate must be nice.
No, it's pretty great. It's something that I don't really have. I've had to work on getting to where I am, but that I feel full is not a feeling I'm used to.
Nope.
Yeah.
So running through each of the love languages, if you feel like you don't deserve any love language until you get to your goal weight, you are in big trouble, mister. Sorry, I just... Disapproving school marm.
I feel like I was being scolded all of a sudden.
No, but we always say to ourselves, like, I'll get a massage when I get to my goal weight because I feel fat and I don't want the massage therapist to like feel my leg.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you've said that before.
Yeah. And I just, you just reminded me actually years ago, I told myself that if I got to my goal weight, I was going to get another tattoo, and I've never done it actually.
Well, yeah. But like,
I'm also almost 50.
Yeah. Or the like, I will buy myself this, major prize, a Tiffany necklace when I hit my goal weight.
Right.
It's this mirage in front of us. I will deserve that vacation when I hit my goal weight. I will deserve to get a manicure pedicure when I hit my goal weight. And we have these, like we don't feel like we deserve any of it until we hit that goal.
And then sadly what we feel like we do deserve is to stuff ourselves with treats.
Or speak poorly of ourselves or whatever. Like there are a lot of people that I know who have actually done like, when I hit my goal weight, I'm going to, go to Paris. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, I'll buy a jean jacket. Like,
aim high.
But I don't once it's done, it's like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know. I don't deserve whatever. And so it's very complicated is what we're saying.
Yeah. And I think that, I've said this many, many times, but one of the major breakthroughs for me in the whole weight loss thing was to really start to be honest with myself and recognize when I was using food as an excuse. I was saying to myself, well, my boss really isn't giving me what I need. And so I was using that as an excuse to eat whatever I wanted. And whatever I wanted was way too many calories to maintain a healthy weight.
Well, and my boss would always give gifts as her love language to her staff.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, I don't want your blank. Like,
right.
If it's noon on a Friday and you tell me I can take the afternoon off, like that's $1 million to me.
Right.
But that's not what she would give me. And so I was resentful all the time because I didn't want a trinket or a bauble or a gift card. I wanted the time off. Like that, my love language was my quality time.
Yeah.
And the act of service is you don't have to work more, you can leave. So my time was what I valued because I wasn't getting it. And we're going to get into some solutions for you for your love languages. So maybe we'll start that soon. But really think about the ways that you sabotage yourself by not speaking your needs or not even understanding your needs. So often we just feel victim to not being told that we matter the way we want to be mattered.
Yeah.
I don't like words of affirmation in a business setting. It makes me uncomfortable because I feel like someone wants to like try to sell me something.
Right.
So words of affirmation aren't anything to me, but I had a colleague who was like, oh, our boss never tells me I'm doing a great job. She never tells me I'm doing a great job. And finally I was like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like that is not, you can't go to that giving tree for that service because it is never going to be there. And understanding that and being a student of other people's love languages and what you need for yourself. And finally, what you're ready to do about it.
Yeah. And I think the first step is, and Catherine basically just said it, is to figure out what it is that you actually want. Even if you think this whole 5 love languages thing is a bunch of hooey, like there is definitely some way in which you want to feel love.
This is hooey and hogwash. I know we use like...
No, but you know what I mean.
Walton's swear words.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, golly.
Yes, exactly. I've tried very hard not to be a person who swears as an adult.
Yeah.
So, but really figuring out what it is that is missing or that how you want to be appreciated, and then realizing that others may not want to be appreciated the same way. And the first thing you can do is ask somebody to do things the way that you're missing, and be like, look, I understand that this might not be the way that you feel love, but, what would really be great for me is if you would, either tell me I'm great or, give me little presents or, do things for me from time to time, et cetera.
And I think a good way to do that too is it really makes me feel valued when you X.
Yeah.
Or, wow, I really love it when you make time to ... You know, like you can just tell people how you feel when something is done.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be an attack. It doesn't have to be like you're not doing this for me, so can you do this? You know, it can just be like Catherine said, you turn it into a positive. You know, I really like it when you hold my hand in public, or, whatever, if you're a physical touch person.
Yeah. And being able to understand that no one has to give you praise the way you want to receive it. You can talk to your boss and just say, look, as part of
your spouse or your family or your friends or whomever.
But specifically, like if you're in a review, hey,
right.
You know what? Instead of giving me a 1% raise, I would really value an extra 2 days vacation.
Right.
Or like, wow, it really means a lot when I get my annual whatever, like, or like when you give me praise, that I can keep in my kudos folder, that makes me feel great. Or I love it on the family side. Wow, when you send me a really heartfelt card, like that really touches me. Knowing that and being able to articulate it is a good thing.
And, unfortunately, there may come a point at which you just have to realize that, like Catherine said, with her boss, you may not ever get exactly what you want. And then you have to decide whether or not you're going to accept that, or you're going to actually do something to change it, like getting another job or, changing relationships or whatever it is. But ultimately, it may end up being that you have to rely on yourself to get what you need. And, so if you're looking for words of affirmation, you need to work on telling yourself that you're good enough, and that I started to sound like Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live.
Darn it, you are worth it.
You're worth it. But, engaging in positive self-talk. And there are also a couple of, or actually more than a couple, if you do a Google search, you can find a bunch of them. But there are some apps and some services that help. There's one called Think Up, where you can actually, like when you're feeling good about yourself, you can record your own voice saying positive things to yourself, and then play it back to you at a later time. And there are also some built-in positive sayings that it will just say to you if you play it back.
Yeah, there's if you are spiritual, there are apps that give you Bible verses. There are apps that give you daily affirmations. Quotes from famous people, just things to kind of set your mind to the positive. You can tell people what you need, like you said, but they don't have to follow through on that. You can read about inspiring people and kind of fill your world with people who, against the odds, got it done, like Chopin.
Just like Chopin.
And Gretchen Rubin actually suggests making your own to-do list instead of a to-do list. Make a to-do list of all your achievements as you go, because we often forget what we do, like even in an annual review.
Yeah.
What did you do in January that was great? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you keep a running list of all of your little successes, whether it's on the weight loss journey, I'm down a pant size, I'm drinking more water, I gave up Crystal Light, like whatever. I'm doing that right now. That's another story. But if you keep a running list of all of your small achievements, all of the miles you've walked this year, all of the calories you've burned, you're getting better sleep, all of that can help fuel your self-worth. And that is something that comes from inside, not expecting from outside.
Yeah. And if you're somebody who enjoys quality time, maybe you just need to realize that you need to take time and do things for yourself and really do what you want to do, and, speak up for yourself and take care of your needs for a while.
Well, and you can go back to the boundaries episode at Dog, the Boundary Hunter.
Yeah.
We're very classy folks here. But go back to setting boundaries, because if you value quality time, and that could be spending time with people, spending time with your family, spending time alone with your cat, or like Donald, living alone on his own little planet without any other humans, because he doesn't get that. He is surrounded by people all of the time, so
only time alone I ever get is basically in the car driving from home to work and back.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
But work on also in regard to quality time. If you say you don't have time, really assess your own time management. Are you scrolling through Facebook for 45 minutes? Are you playing Candy Crush for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Are you, watching TV and, just zoning out, which is fine. It is all fine things, but you have a trade-off of time. And if you're saying, I don't have enough time to hang out with friends, or I don't have enough time
to meal prep or to, exercise, but you're carving out, 45 minutes a day for, games on your phone or messing around on Instagram, then you really do have the time. You're just choosing not to use it for those things.
And understanding that because we don't get more time, it is not an abundant resource or a renewable resource. How you spend that time matters. Compartmentalizing. A lot of times we're trying to do 5 things at once and we're master of none. Being able to, and this is something I struggle with, compartmentalizing work and family, being present where you are instead of having your mind somewhere else. Schedule a day off, even if it feels decadent. If quality time is important to you and you're not just magically getting it, schedule a day off by yourself, or schedule a day off with a friend who's also going to do it. And if, the kids are at school or something like that, and you've got a day to just go to a cafe and hang out, like, you can build in that time for yourself. You don't have to save it for every sick day. Like, you can invest in your own quality time.
Yeah. And more importantly, you do these things instead of, revenge eating. And I'm saying revenge in air quotes because the person you're getting revenge against is actually you. Another thing is, if you're a person who is into receiving gifts, if that's your love language, reward yourself for staying on your plan.
There we go. So we have our 7-day habit circle that you can email us. We only look thin at gmail.com. Others have done it. Be like our other Wolt chums.
Yeah, you can become a Wolt super chum and have Catherine's printable habit circle.
But instead of waiting for other people to buy you gifts, you can give yourself little rewards. Like right now, I am abstaining from something, and my 7-day habit chart, I didn't tell you this, I'm on day 3 of abstaining from something, and I bought myself a shirt last week. But guess what? I don't get that shirt until I get the habits done. There we go. So it's like a carrot in advance. You can set up little tiny rewards. You can come up with like a list of like, every time I get X done, I'm going to get like a little bouquet of flowers from Trader Joe's.
Yeah. And we're not talking about, doing what Catherine said, when you hit your goal weight, you're going to Tahiti. Like, that's a huge, way down the road goal. We're talking about setting yourself little rewards to keep yourself motivated as you go along this journey.
Right. And you can do a couple of things. You can either do a little, each, depending on what's important to you, you can do a bunch of little things, or you can say, like, once I've filled out 7 habit charts and gotten them done, I'm going to get myself a big thing.
Right.
You can also do a monthly delivery service. There are lots of health and beauty and, literature, little goodie boxes that you can get online where you don't actually know what you're getting, but you sign up for like the sticker of the month club, which is actually awesome. But it can be little tiny things.
That's a real thing?
Yeah.
Sticker of the month club? Wow.
Like stickers.
Yeah,
stickers
who doesn't
are
like
so
stickers?
Good. But there's little things where you can sign up for a service and once a month get like a fun little treasure that you don't know what it's going to be. So that's a way to receive a gift that you're not like, oh, great, I just bought myself my own vacuum for Christmas. Like, so you can do that.
There's also like this nerd service called Loot Crate where you sign up and then like every month they send you like cool nerd stuff that you don't necessarily pick out.
Yeah, so there's tons of different options for that, and I think it's a great way to add like a little spice. There's that, a little spice.
Yeah.
And also have the habit of pairing a success. So when you hit your step goal 10 days in a row, then you get yourself a little treat. Like being able to pair it with some sort of success, I think is really important. You can also do like a fun and Donald wouldn't do this, a fun charm bracelet.
Who says I
jingle,
wouldn't?
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Yeah.
But, like, do something to kind of mark the passing of time.
That was the sound of a charm bracelet, by the way.
Like,
jingle, jingle, jingle.
Jingle. We'll fix it in post. But I know in Weight Watchers, as you lose weight, or WW as it's called now, you get a little charm for every 5 pounds that you lose. And then when you hit goal weight, you get like this lucky charm. There, I said it. So there are lots of different ways to give yourself a physical representation of your success. Let's see. What else do we have? Physical touch. Should we go on physical touch?
Sure.
Okay.
If you're somebody who craves physical touch as your love language, you can do something like schedule yourself a massage every few weeks, or maybe get a manicure or a pedicure every so often, and get physical touch that way. I know there for the guys out there, Floyd's Barbershop, like you can pay like $5 or $10 extra and you get like a scalp massage with your haircut.
Well, and if you're not a physical touch with other people,
maybe they do it for women too. I don't know why I said it's
for the
dudes.
ladies.
Yeah, I don't know why I just said it was for dudes.
But if you are a tactile person and touch is important to you, buy yourself a cozy robe.
There you go.
Gretchen Rubin suggests buying yourself a new pillow or new, really crisp cotton sheets.
What about extra nice towels?
Extra nice towels. There are many lovely socks. Yeah. So there are ways to experience sort of a tactile physical touch that just like every time you get into bed and you put your head on the pillow, you're like, this is great. This isn't the janky pillow that was in the guest room where we stayed a while ago. So really getting creative with what you see as physical touch, whether it's, like I said, like a throw pillow or a comfy whatever, like really own that for yourself and don't wait to get the cushy slippers for Christmas or Hanukkah. Like buy them for yourself now. You are worthy.
And if you're an acts of service person, you can create your own acts of service. You can have your car washed, or you can have a cleaning service come in, a couple of times a month.
And we understand that cost is a factor in all of this, but having an occasional break from the norm, like I actually enjoy cleaning because I can listen to podcasts and it's predictable and I can zone out and feel successful.
Yeah.
But this summer we had a cleaning service once who they came and scrubbed from top to bottom and did like every nook and cranny. And it felt so nice to have that done.
Yeah.
It is maybe a twice a year thing for me, but having that active service, having a grocery delivery service.
Yeah. Like I very recently have ordered grocery delivery twice because I've been working so much and just didn't feel like then also spending hours and hours on the weekend going to the grocery store.
Yeah. And for those I've got to do it all people, really make a list of like, well, are you the only one who can fill the dishwasher? Are you the only one who can, like Donald last week, he said, can I schedule an oil change for you? And my instinct was, no, you cannot. I'm the only one who dials phones. And then I thought, that's ridiculous. Let the man make the appointment for you. And he did. And it was very nice to get the email.
I was trying to do an act of service.
Yeah, but it was letting go of the no, I'll do it, which is something I do a lot, which is weird because acts of service is my thing. Letting go of the perfect way to do it and letting other people fill in for you, whether it's at work or at home or, just letting go of that and letting people do things for you is nice. Also, you can do a babysitter sit and swap. If you can't, if paying for a babysitter isn't in the cards, maybe offering to watch someone else's kids and then having it swap out at another time would be a good thing.
A little crisscross.
Yeah. Like I said, take a day off to kind of catch up on things. It can feel really good to not have stuff on your list. And let go of guilt for not getting it all done.
Yeah.
Like part of the acts of service is feeling like everything has to get done. And really, if my bed isn't made, like nothing's going to happen. Like I just get in it again at night. It's not, it doesn't have to be perfect every day. So letting go of those things that would be nice to get done instead of must be done can really help.
Yeah, we talked about this on another episode, and I was talking about it with somebody at work recently. You know, it's like I put all these things on my to-do list, and they're not all necessary. And, you know, sort of I used to, and I still struggle with it, you know, valuing my self-worth based on how many things I was getting off of my to-do list. And you know, even if it was something like I need to watch XYZ episode, you know, if it's something fun, or I need to go see that movie, you know, and then I don't do it and I feel like the weekend's a failure because I didn't cross them off my list, you know, and it could be housework things, it could be grocery things, it could be podcasting for that matter, you know, it's like I don't have to accomplish all these things. Like there are things that are absolutely necessary to do, like making sure I have, you know, food for the week. And then there are things that would be nice that I don't have to do. And it's like not feeling guilty for those things.
Right. Did we cover is that all the?
Yep.
We should come out with a competing book, 6 love languages.
Oh, yeah.
What's the 6th one? No one knows.
Yeah, leaving me alone.
Coffee is my actual love language. When I was a kid, I would go and stay with my grandparents, and my grandfather would always bring my grandmother a cup of coffee in bed with like a little saucer and cup, and I just thought that was the best.
I know, and
thing.
every time you tell the story, I feel worse and worse because I don't do that for you.
Well, Donald only recently.
I think in like 23
coffee.
years, I've brought you a cup of coffee like twice.
But when you have, it's been delightful. So anyway, I'm speaking my needs, making my own coffee. That's fine.
Exactly.
But in all of this, resentment and not speaking your needs leads to self-sabotage. It leads to breakdown in relationships. It leads to hating your job. All of this ties back to food.
Yeah.
And having better control and better understanding of your own needs, the needs of those around you. Like, are you wasting time offering a love language to a loved one and they're not receiving it because it's not their love language? That is a waste of time. And all of that energy we spend, you know, drinking on a Friday after work, grousing about our bosses for not appreciating us, grousing about our spouses or our friends for not, you know, doing what we want. We could actually be actively changing our lives and actively letting people know what we need. And we know the love languages of others. There are certain people that I send really funny cards to.
Yeah.
And ones where I go, you know, it's, you know, deep and meaningful, like, well, I remember the first time we met. And
for sure.
And you know those people. Those people are like, oh my God, your card. Whereas if you sent that to someone else, they'd be like, why did you send me this card? It's ridiculous. So
be like, back off, bro.
Yeah, little much. So, don't send me a sappy card. No, it's very nice. I like words of affirmation. And you don't have to have like one that is like the one that you have.
Look, I think ultimately, you know, at various points, I appreciate all 5 of these love languages. It's just more oftentimes, you know, some more than others. But the bottom line here is that understanding your love language and how you like to receive it and being able to either ask others to give it to you in the way that you would like or make it for yourself leads to self-care, and it leads to not eating your feelings, and it leads to making yourself a priority rather than just drowning your emotions with food.
Well, and that has been a really big deal for me because I used to be so afraid to tell people what I needed. And there was a certain circumstance a few years back where I wanted to ask someone for an act of service. And it was making me nauseous because I figured that they just knew that that's what I would value. And for days, I like felt sick about asking them for it. And then I did.
Yeah.
And they said, sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've spent 43 years not saying that this is what I needed. And it came back with a sure. And now all of that anxiety that I had is gone. Like, it was really freeing to just ask the question. And again, just because you need something a certain way doesn't mean that someone is going to give it to you. And that's where doing it for yourself, like the sisters are doing it for themselves.
Exactly.
Being able to give yourself love in a way that is meaningful really matters, because the more self-care you give, the more love you give yourself, the better able you are equipped to manage this entire journey. It is not a destination. I didn't hit my goal weight and suddenly feel worthy and valued and, all of the languages. The languages, you got to learn a language over time. You got to study.
And you got to keep working at it.
Yeah. So if you want to go online and I think if you just Google 5 love languages quiz, it's specifically about couples, but honestly, if you don't know your love language by now, I can
probably link to it in the show notes too.
Figure out what your love languages are, and then decide what maybe other people's are. Be a student of others. See what theirs might be. Have conversations about it. It's a good dinner conversation. Find out more about the people around you. And then make some changes for yourself and decide what you're really willing and ready to take on for yourself, because it all starts with you.
It all starts with
the greatest love of all, everyone. Sisters doing it for themselves.
Exactly. And I think that is a good way to sum it up. And I think that brings us to our product of the week.
Pow!
Pow, everybody.
So this has been a hot and heavy episode of We Only Look Thin. We're going to just lighten it up with this product of the week.
Yeah.
It's just a light product.
Yeah. The product of the week is the Brita filter pitcher.
Ooh.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't have to be Brita, but that's the one that we use.
There's pure filters.
We have the largest Brita in our refrigerator, and we fill it up quite often, and it really helps us to maintain water goals. And always having some cold, filtered, good tasting water available all the time. Also makes me feel better about not using plastic water bottles all the time in the fridge.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to keep drinking water and not reach for soda or other sugary drinks.
Yeah, you can keep it on the counter. You can put it in the fridge. We have actually gotten ones like travel ones to take with us when we've stayed other places, because tap water is less about the water at the source and more about the pipes at the place where you're getting the water.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, they used to call in Trenton, New Jersey, where I grew up, they'd call it a Trenton martini, or a Trenton cocktail if you would just drink tap water.
Yeah.
So know the difference, because filtered water actually does taste better, and it definitely gets us to drink more water, and that's what we need. So we're drinking water, everyone.
We're drinking water. So get yourself a Brita pitcher, or if you don't care about the filtered part, maybe just a pitcher in your fridge that you keep with cold water in it.
Sure, why not? And if you don't have a fridge, get a fridge. And if you don't have electricity, get electricity.
Exactly.
We've got a tip and a pow for everyone.
And I think that is your product of the week.
Pow!
Pow, everybody. Well, thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate you. And if you appreciate us, one way you can show it is to leave us some words of affirmation on Apple Podcasts.
Or a gift would be to give us 5 stars.
5 stars and a couple of words like, "These 2 crazy kids are awesome."
And an act of service would be to share this podcast with your friends.
Oh, yeah.
See? Let people know about it. Just say it's a comedy podcast that sometimes talks about weight.
Yeah,
also.
Sure.
Yeah. Or physical touch. I don't know how we can physically touch.
I was trying to think of a way to work physical touch into this, and it's hard.
Phil Collins knows how to do it. Let's just wait for him to give us a physical touch.
Phil Collins was invisible touch, by the way.
You've let me go through this whole episode.
Yes, I did.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You need to have some physical touch.
You seem to have the physical.
Yeah, no, it's invisible touch.
Okay, well, the 80s have been a while, so wow, I feel a little bit of judgment right now, but it's pretty funny. So
it's pretty good stuff.
I'll allow it. So those are the love languages. Let us know what your love language is. Send us an email at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
You can also find us on the socials.
Yeah, join the discussion.
Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at We Only Look Thin.
Yeah. And let's see, you can join Wolt Place.
We Only Look Thin Place, or yes. Wolt Place for short.
Yeah. Where it is a community for women who are looking for support in their various love languages. You go to our website at weonlylookthin.com and click on the link to join our support group. Yeah.
And it'll tell you more about it.
Yeah. So if you still don't know the difference between a physical touch and an invisible touch, just remember that Donald and I are an inspiration. That didn't go well. I was trying to do the invisible touch. You seem to have an invisible touch.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.